Well, a very good day to you from wherever you're watching us from. This is AfriRise, and AfriRise is your go-to channel on matters politics, matters economics, matters governance, and everything happening in and around the world, especially on the African continent. And today, I have a very interesting video for you, and this is all about why Dr. Fred Matiang'i is the best fit candidate to beat Dr. William Ruto in the 2027 Kenyan polls. And kindly, before I start this video, I'd like to request you to kindly subscribe to our channel, help us grow, and like this video and more others. Kindly, this channel is all about a range of things from farming, from politics, from adventure. And if we, by any of these of our contents, make you happy or give you something to watch and you're happy by it, kindly subscribe and help us as we grow this channel. And let's go straight into the video. Why Dr. Fred Matiang'i is the best fit candidate of everyone in the opposition to beat Dr. William Ruto in the upcoming polls in Kenya decides 2027. And the very first reason why I say Dr. Fred Matiang'i is the best fit candidate is because Dr. Matiang'i has been on the scene. Dr. Fred Matiang'i has been in government. He was in the Jubilee administration for straight 9 years. 9 straight years he ran into different ministries, starting in ICT, where he was in for about a couple of years, and then to education, where he ran a couple of years, and finally in the interior docket. And for you to understand why I say he has been in government and understands the workings of government, it's not very easy for a CS of an administration to be there for all its life in power and actually get promoted, moving from the ICT ministry, which is by many people regarded to as an inferior ministry to the others, and growing to the education docket, which is kind of a superior ministry from the ICT, and then to the most superior, in my view, the Ministry of Interior and National Coordination. And Dr. Fred Matiang'i rose through the ranks from he was a lecturer when he was appointed to be minister. And from that, he grew to the biggest minister. And not just your ordinary minister in the interior docket. Dr. Fred Matiang'i was kind of the second deputy president, especially when the current president and the former president, who he deputized then, were not in good terms. And when they were in loggerheads, the one person who seemed to be running stuff in government on behalf of the president, and especially when the president was not around, was Dr. Fred Matiang'i. He was the one who used to go, and he was the one who went to the airport when the president was leaving the country. He was the one who went to the airport to welcome the president back. He is the one who was sent to represent the president in foreign nations. And this makes him a very important figure. I'm not saying that the others in the opposition, like Dr. Kalonzo Musyoka, Rigathi Gachagua, do not have the requisite experience. But in my view, Kalonzo Musyoka was in government more than a decade ago, and this makes it complicated for him. A lot of things have changed because Dr. Kalonzo only was in government during the new constitution for only 2 years. Then the Jubilee government came into office, and this makes him not someone who is actually, in quotes, not very up to date with the workings of government. And on the other hand, Rigathi Gachagua, former deputy president, was only in the office of the deputy president for only 2 years, and it's not a very short time to be deputy president for 2 years. It actually is it's enough time to make someone understand the working of government. But the other time he was in civil service or in public service was more than 2 decades ago. He was MP for 5 years, I understand, between 2017 and 2022. That's also a very important role he played. But when he was in national administrations as district commissioner or district officer in the 90s or in the Moi era, and slightly, I think even it was only during the Moi era. He was not DC in the Kibaki era. He understood the working of government, but his reputation and what he's been put through might not make him the best fit candidate who could convince many people. This keeps Fred Matiang'i above them all. And the second reason why I say Dr. Fred Matiang'i is the best fit candidate is he understands how to win an election. He might not have run for office and won, but Dr. Fred Matiang'i was CS for Interior. He has a lot of deep connections in the intelligence service, in the security dockets. He understands how elections are won. He understands the mood in the country. He understands what people are frustrated for. He understands what people want to hear. He understands what people are looking forward to in a candidate for the next election. And this is not just simply because he was CS for Interior. It is also because he had the support. This might not have come out very clearly, but he has the support of the former president Uhuru Kenyatta. And by this, he understands, by the many years Uhuru has been in politics, he understands. Uhuru gives him that face of politics. He gives him the side of politics and how things are run in that aspect. And by this, I mean, also, he understands how to start it off. And we saw it on, I think, Friday the 3rd. He was in Kisii and Nyamira. And Matiang'i understands that in order to come to the stage, to the forefront, and compete for the presidency, you have first to mobilize at your home and put all the votes from your home place or your home region in one basket. That way, you can be able to come out, go to other regions in the country, and on that basis, negotiate with other leaders and other communities all around the country. This he understands very well. And it was clear in Wamunyoro on Sunday, the 4th of March, where he was in Wamunyoro. And you could see, just because of the meetings he did in Kisii, the leaders really looked up to him and said, yeah, this is the man that we saw there in Kisii. And now you're in Nyeri, he's passing by Kieni, Yomerere, Nyahururu, he's coming greeting a lot of people. People are very psyched up by him. And this brings us to the third reason why Dr. Matiang'i is the best fit candidate to be president in 2027. He has the presidential aura. And this is very important, especially for the Kenyan electorate. The Kenyan electorate do not just elect someone by virtue of their track record. It's not that really. It's how commandeering you are to the electorate. How do you deliver your speeches? And this was very, very open to see in Wamunyoro when he made his address. There's one thing he said, and just listen to it.
Tuko tayari. Kazi ya kuongoza nchi na kazi ya kuendesha nchi sio kazi ngumu. Watu wengine walikuwa wananiuliza eti wewe tunataka urudi kwa public life. Are you serious? Nikasema there is no time in my life I've never been serious. Because wakati nilikuwa minister for education, mimi kazi sio shida kwangu, na kwanza kazi ikitajwa mimi nachangamuka sana. Nilikuwa hapa nafungua container ya mtihani saa 9 usiku. Napiga shule 15 hapa, naanzia Mudwaine kule Bishop Katimu Ngandu Girls, naenda kumalizia pande ile ya Nyeri huko juu. And I was all over the place. The following day I would be in Kambiamoto, opening containers at 3 a.m. in the morning, kupigana na wakora wa kusumbua watoto wetu kwa shule. Sasa mimi niko tayari kupigana na watu kama hao, ndio kazi yangu. Mimi niko tayari. Na najua hiyo kazi nyinyi wananchi ndio mnatoa hiyo kazi. Nyinyi ndio mko na kadi ya kura, nyinyi ndio mko na kipande, nyinyi ndio mtaamuka asubuhi muamue ni nani mnapea hiyo kazi. Sisi wakati ukifika, ninawaahidi mkitupea hiyo kazi mtaona vile nchi itaenda.
When you are able to make Kenyans excited, when you are able to make Kenyans happy just by virtue of what you say, you can commandeer them to vote for you. And this is quite obvious. You saw in 2022, by just evoking emotions, by just arousing Kenyans and making them feel, yes, this guy, that aura can make people vote for you. And if you can crack jokes like the former late president Moi Kibaki did, you can get elected. Just because Kenyans want their president to be a normal guy. And this is what President Ruto has been trying, but he has overdone it to the extent that he has lost even the respect of young Kenyans who are young enough to be his grandchildren. And if you do not have that aura, Matiang'i, most people might not like him, but they respect him. They respect him for what he has done and what he is as a person. So it's not more of his track record. Most people complain about the extrajudicial killings that happened then. And these are things that he cannot come openly and defend and say, I was not involved. These are things that are going to haunt him. But really, this just sells to more of us, the young people, who are more concerned on these abductions things and everything. But the common Kenyan is more focused on the aura and how commandeering a leader is. The fourth reason that makes Dr. Fred Matiang'i the best fit candidate for the presidency is that he has his track record. I know many people might not agree with me on this, but Kenyans, as I know them, the electorate in Kenya, are looking for a commandeering person. They are looking for a bulldozer who is going to get things done. And this is evident from his time at the Ministry of Education, his time at the Ministry of Interior. He got things done. And many people might not like his way of doing things, his way of getting things done, but they agree that he gets things done. And most Kenyans, even if you go on the street, even if you go on the market, even if you go anywhere in any region on any function in this country and ask them who do you think is the man to beat Ruto, they think of Dr. Fred Matiang'i. And the reason is simple: he got things done. And what really has failed this government is that they get nothing done. They just are all about speaking and nothing happens on the ground. With Dr. Fred Matiang'i, people are hopeful. It gives people more reason to believe that he'll get things done based on what he did then in the ministries of interior and in the ministry of education. And more so, he lives by the promise. When he gets on the ground, when he goes on the ground, like we saw him go on into schools when he was the minister for education, he actually got things done. And this is what people are looking for in a president. People are very frustrated by what President Ruto has been doing, and they believe that in order and to get this country to change, we have to get a person who is a bulldozer, who will get things done on the ground, whose words will not just be words, whose words will mean something. And this is Dr. Fred Matiang'i for you. I know on that aspect many people might not agree with me, but it's what I believe makes him ahead of the rest. The fifth reason why Dr. Fred Matiang'i is very, very capable of beating William Ruto is because of his age. He might be slightly younger, I'm not sure of the numbers, but his age difference with Dr. William Ruto is not as huge as was between President William Ruto and former Prime Minister in the 2022 elections. And many people might ignore this card, but the Kenyans or even any other electorate, you could see in the US, Biden and Trump could compete because they were slightly in around the same age, but just because of he was a bit older than Donald Trump, Biden was shunned by Trump's party and everyone on his camp who said that he's very old, he can't get things done, he can't remember what he said yesterday. These things really come into play, especially when we talk about the presidential debate, things that happen there. When you can answer questions very eloquently with that aura that I mentioned, you're able to convince more people to believe in your candidature. You're able to convince more people to see it fit to elect you. And this gives Matiang'i a lot of power, a lot of energy ahead of the rest, especially those he is in the opposition. You look at the likes of Wamalo Eugene, who are in the same age bracket, very strong candidates. Kina Natembea, very strong people who can be able to debate. But the front runners in that camp are the likes of Mata Karua, who is a decade or so older than Matiang'i. Someone like Rigathi Gachagua, a decade or so older than Matiang'i. You look at Kalonzo Musyoka, a very more than 15 years older than Matiang'i. And just because of this reason, it puts Matiang'i ahead of them in the race for electing or selecting the best candidate from the opposition to be their flag bearer in 2027. And this brings me to the sixth and I think the most important reason why Dr. Fred Matiang'i is the best candidate to beat William Ruto. This is Fred Matiang'i has made the right friends. Fred Matiang'i has made the right moves. And by this I mean, when he went to do that homecoming in Kisii and Nyamira, he showed the country that he has the backing of his home. He has the backing of his community, the Abugusi. He has the backing of his home governor. Very important. When leaders from your backyard believe in you, there's nothing as important as that. This counteracts what Dr. or I mean, former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is going through. He might be commandeering 70-80% of the mountain votes. But when you do not have leaders in around you, many leaders who believe in you, especially from your backyard, if your member of parliament does not support you, it raises questions. It kind of blurs the picture. It's not really definitive of how far you can go, but it kind of hinders something, brings some darkness in that image that is shown to the general public, or how people believe in your candidature. And this Matiang'i understands very well. And by putting those people together from your region, bringing them forth to the rest of the country and showing them that I have the backing of these people and I believe I want to be president. This was hot people like Kina Maraga, Mukia Mtatalak. And to be president, having legislators is very important. It's very important in the running of parliamentary duties and the general aspect politically of convincing other people. This puts him ahead of the rest, like Rigiji, like Alonso, and by him meeting them and making them his friends, it kind of gives Kenyans or convinces more Kenyans that this is the guy to vote for because he commandeers. When the common Kenyan or a layman like me see Rigathi Gachagua with Dr. Fred Matiang'i, I believe more in his candidature because I think by him bringing in those votes, he's most probably going to be the president. And here are my reasons. These are my views of why Dr. Matiang'i is the best fit candidate to beat William Ruto in 2027. Kindly, if you have any feedback, any comments, drop it down in the comments and like this video, subscribe, share it to as many friends as possible, and enjoy. Thank you.